Hello everyone, and this is my review for Monday Night Raw on August the 1st, 2016. And well, last week being the first show right after the brand split and draft and everything in that sense, everything like you can watch the review from last week if you wish as well. I said it was a really good show. It really was. This week, they dialed it back a little bit. Don't get me wrong, there was still some good stuff on there and some innuendo jokes that were going in there. You saw like Enzo and Sasha right at the beginning of the show make some innuendos. If you're looking for innuendo jokes, also the New Day did something in there as well with their little pick a fruit out of a bag. Basically, whoever got the matching fruit, those were going to be the tag teams, and they symbolized the making a certain joke, basically making a dick and balls joke out of it. They kind of held back at the end and everything in that sense. So if you're looking for innuendo jokes like that, it wasn't too bad in that sense. But let's go through the entire show here. They started off the show with, well, a promo. Kind of hoping that maybe, last week was expected. You're kind of hoping maybe they would go straight into the action with this show. But they decided not to. The only difference this time is that with how big the ending, or how big that it was last week with Sasha Banks winning everything, they had Sasha start off the show. Not a bad way to go. She starts cutting her promo. Charlotte cuts her off pretty quickly in this sense, and the two of them have a nice little back and forth, and then, well, out of nowhere, and I don't mean like Randy Orton out of nowhere, but just out of kind of nowhere, Jericho comes out and he starts doing his whole quiet. Yeah, it sounds almost like that, I think. And he starts going off on Sasha and basically building Charlotte. Like, he does a really good job of putting over Charlotte in this case. I like that aspect. He put great emphasis. It was almost like, in a sense, he wasn't even putting over himself. He was putting over Charlotte in here, which I actually liked in there, which eventually prompts Enzo Amore to come out. And again, another random one. And that's where you get the innuendo joke. The two of them are kind of like doing the how you doing thing throughout the entire thing, throughout there with Enzo and Sasha. Not too much really to that one. This does eventually prompt Mick Foley to come out and say, hey, there's going to be a mixed tag match. It's going to be Sasha and Enzo versus Charlotte and Jericho. So of course, they go to commercial break after that. And of course, also Sasha and Charlotte, their promo, I like the aspect of how much, before Jericho and Enzo got out there, how much they focused towards that women's title match, towards SummerSlam and everything like that. I like that focus on there, and they did a good job with that portion of the promo. The match itself wasn't bad. There were a couple things I did like about this match. Was, when back in the day when they used to do mixed tags, you had moments where they would the people would you'd have that hot tag moment. Well, one person makes the tag, the other person doesn't necessarily have to do that. They did that here. It was like, oh, Charlotte tagged in Jericho, Enzo just comes in. Jericho tags Charlotte, so Sasha would just come in. I like the little aspects of that. The match saw an ending where Dana Brooke, who wasn't there at the beginning with, like Charlotte had said, she doesn't need Dana or anything like that, but Dana comes out, runs out, distracts Sasha, looks like it's going to pull off the victory there, but Sasha kicks out of the roll-up. Gets up, slaps Jericho square in the face. I mean, like, this was a rough slap. Good one. Very good one. Good selling from Jericho as well to go along with it. That caused enough distraction for Charlotte to hit natural selection, get the victory. Inside there, you saw did they do a secondary promo? No, they did a secondary promo off of the air, so I don't necessarily need to talk too much about that at this time. But the other fun fact here, which I hadn't mentioned before, was that Kevin Owens was on was on the commentary booth the entire time. Like, this kind of boggled my mind. They tied it all together a little bit later in the show. I'll talk about that in a second. It was like you had Owens on commentary. These two teams kind of just mismatched together. Came off a little bit weird. The match itself wasn't that bad. Jericho does continue to attack Enzo after the match, which prompts Big Cass to come out there, and this is where they actually tie the whole thing in. So Jericho's doing a backstage promo much later in the show, after they recap everything from beforehand, and he's talking about Enzo and Cass, you know, and everything in that sense. Is like, and I've got someone to back me up, and it's like Tom Phillips, who is much taller than what he was showing. They have that guy actually bend down or like stretch his legs out or something in that sense to make him seem smaller than the other wrestlers, though he's actually really tall guy. It's again a little bit weird in that sense, but Jericho's like making up some person is like that's like, oh, this person has my back, and he makes up some weird name and everything in that sense, and then it always just pops up on the screen. It's like, just made that up. It's not a real person. I love Kevin Owens. He'll just call out everybody in every way, shape, or form. But he says, not to worry, I've got your back. And apparently, I guess these two are going to team up, and I guess they're going to go after Enzo and Cass for now. Like I said, they tied it together eventually, but like at the beginning of the show seemed a little bit weird. You had Braun Strowman up against a local jobber. You also had Nia Jax up against local jobber. The first thing I liked here was the interview again with Byron Saxton and the local dude. I caught Evan as his first name, not sure what the last name was that they gave him. And he was like, so why did you take this match? Because they gave me $1,000. And if I happen to win, I get $5,000. I was like, oh. At least he's honest. At least he's honest, gets beat down really quick. With Nia Jax, again, another local jobber here. Didn't catch the last name. First name they gave her was Ariel. And Nia Jax won with a different move this time, and I actually hope she does choose a different maneuver to win matches other than that leg drop, because I think she can come up with a lot more. Like, she does have a powerbomb. She had the jackhammer. You saw that down in NXT. This time she had her in a Samoan drop type position, and then flips her over and slams her, almost like like a Royal Strong Slam, but from a completely different way of doing it. So that looked a lot more impactful inside of there. So we'll see how that one goes. I still like the whole local jobber thing. I just hope it's not. I hope both of them don't do this for like 8 straight weeks. Maybe stretch them out over a period of time to build them up, and then you have them go into whatever their first feuds are going to be. You also have the Golden Truth. You know, I don't know. I don't know. I get they're supposed to be the comedy act. I really do. But a person getting distracted during a match because of Pokemon Go. Okay, I'm a gamer and everything, but not even that. Not even that would happen with me. With it. It just doesn't feel realistic. They had R-Truth get distracted by Pokemon Go and costing Golden Truth the match against the Shining Stars. Is what it is. Wasn't all that great. Basically what they were going off of with last week. So they're still doing this whole Pokemon Go addiction thing with R-Truth, and we'll see how long they run with that. I hope it's not for too terribly long. You did have a couple backstage segments with Stephanie and Mick Foley, so you did see them a little bit more this week. Not a bad thing though. Like every time you saw them, it was making some kind of announcement of a match or something in that sense, or bringing someone in. All of a sudden, a match was kind of made out of it. You had a moment with Mark Henry back there. He's like, "Oh, I want to reintroduce the Hall of Pain and everything in that sense." But Steph is like, "Oh, we kind of drafted you to be kind of that mentor type to the younger superstars," but Mick ends up making a match where he is like, since he's going to be the representative out in the Olympics for the WWE. for USA, one of the not for WWE but for the USA in general because of his past Olympic areas. He was going to get a U.S. title match against Rusev. The match itself was made there to look Rusev very, very strong in this case. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I like that aspect. I also like the promo afterwards, and they even I love how Lana's doing everything in her power to get booed as well, and she does it each and every time with the fans. So I'm actually liking where they're going with her aspect. She's only announcing Rusev to come out, but she tantalizes the crowd in the terms of taunting them and saying it's oh, he's the only one who can have me or anything like that. So she's actually trying to get heel heat. I like that aspect to it. The promo afterwards was really good again. It's he goes up on the whole aspect of the Olympic Committee banning the Russians and everything on that aspect, and saying it's oh, it's all fixed. That's why the Americans actually win and everything like that. And it's this is also why no American will ever beat me. Out comes, and I said it last week. It's what were they going to do with Roman Reigns? Well, apparently this. Actually, I don't mind this one. I really don't mind that whatsoever. Because Roman Reigns has been up there. So it does give more emphasis towards the United States title. It will be interesting to see if they decide to put it on Roman Reigns for any reason, shape, or form. Or if they're going to have this be another one of those things that Roman might be getting punished still, or he's going to help put over Rusev a little bit more here. We'll see where they go with this, but this could be very, very interesting. I actually kind of like this one. The Finn Balor, Seth Rollins promo. Well, it started out it was supposed to start out as an interview, but gets cut off really quickly by Seth Rollins. And the promo between the two of them, it's I like Finn in the ring. I really do. And his look and everything's great. But Seth showed, promo-wise, why he is where he's at right now. He is leaps and bounds promo-wise over Finn. In the ring and everything, he's fine. But that promo is the one thing that you worried about. And it really shined here that Seth was kind of up here. Finn's not so up there. He's kind of in this area. He's not bad, but he's not where Seth is in the terms of doing a great promo. It came off all right, but like I said, I think Rollins kind of outshined Finn in this case in the terms of the promo. And then eventually and that's where they also announced that him and Sami Zayn were going to have a match later in the night. Actually, that match itself, Rollins goes over as you kind of expected here. You don't want to you want to have Rollins building momentum going into the pay-per-view match. Sucks that it has to be with Sami Zayn. Zayn's not really working a program with anyone else right now. So we'll see where they have him going here in the very near future as well. But the match was really good. That one's for sure. It was definitely the best match of the night, which isn't really saying too much in that sense. But like I said, those two put on a really good match. I found it very enjoyable. But in the end, it just serves as a way for Rollins to garner more momentum going into the pay-per-view itself. Other things that happened throughout the night. Darren Young, Titus O'Neil. Apparently, Titus O'Neil's a heel now. Cheats the win, beats up and win to beat Darren, and then he's getting in the face of Bob Atkins getting in the face of Titus O'Neil for cheating backstage and everything. Backlund doing his normal crazy shtick, and Titus threatens to knock him out, and that's when Darren Young comes up, runs, and basically knocks down Titus O'Neil, which I assume they're going to continue on this feud. The crowd wasn't really into this match all that much, but they're going to continue on with the feud, which isn't a bad thing. Maybe they can build up something over time. Who knows? In that sense, I know not too many people are looking forward to Darren Young or anything in that sense. but we'll see how everything builds and see how the storyline actually works. Like, the story that they built here was not that bad. It's like you had two former good buddies who were tag team partners, and you have Titus O'Neil cheat to win in a match, in this one-on-one match, because they're going on a singles style. The singles careers for both of them. So, like I said, the story for it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just like not too many people are into these two particular superstars. You also had another backstage segment with Steph and Mick, and they're about to talk, but they get interrupted by Sheamus and Cesaro, which does, like, they bring up the whole aspect of both of them not being happy where they were drafted, and how Cesaro had said something, had said that he would rather have been on SmackDown and everything in that sense. So the aspect was here, we've seen this match before. Tonight was a good match again, but the storyline that they built for this is like, you need to go out there and impress people now. And Mick says, like, the two of you will have a match, and basically, if one of you impresses, you get a future title match. For which title? Because one of the aspects was, like, Sheamus was complaining why Mark Henry got the U.S. title match when you could have had him do the U.S. title match or something like that for the show. So the match itself, I thought, was a really good match again between the two of them. But we've seen it before so many times. Cesaro goes over here, so we'll see what they're going to be doing with this with Cesaro down the road here. And, like, does this mean did he impress enough, and did he garner a title match down the line? So we'll see where everything goes here. You also had a Heath Slater moment as Cesaro and Sheamus brawled throughout the commercial break. As they were going out, you had Slater and Jinder Mahal sitting in the ring. Foley comes out, and it's like, because they're cutting a promo saying it's like, why wasn't he drafted and everything like that, and they brought back the two-man band because, well, you can't get Drew McIntyre because he's doing Drew Galloway and doing a lot better over in TNA, at least for himself. So Foley comes out, it's like, I have one contract for this, and I'm going to just make a match between the two of you. And it's like, Slater's like, oh, you can't break us up. It's like, one contract's not going to knock the two-man band away from each other as the bell rings, and he gets booted in the face by Jinder Mahal, who wins the match really quick. So that is what it is right there. They're going to be continuing on with this whole Slater trying to get on either one of the programs. We'll see how they actually do this, and we'll see which, does he continually get knocked out and then just eventually fade away, or does he actually garner a win somewhere and get put onto one of the rosters? I mean, we'll see what they do with it down the road here. And the way that they end the night was with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. Basically, here's what you need to know. Here's what you need to know about that segment. And there was a certain thing I did like about the segment too. One, Paul Heyman promo. Already excellent. So they go through the entire promo, and it's like, and he starts talking about Randy Orton's, like, how he's not man enough, how he doesn't have the balls to get Brock into a position for an RKO. And, like, as he's still talking, Orton slides in, RKO's Brock Lesnar, and dashes out of the ring and into the crowd again. This is what I actually liked about this segment. This is a portion at the end here that I really liked about the segment. Was that A, Orton went back through the crowd. B, referees came out to try to get him, and you had Mick and Stephanie calling for security like he's not supposed to be there. They're actually coinciding. It's not like, oh, he did that and walked up the rampway. No, he went through the crowd and was trying to get away from security and everything like that. I like that. Continuity. Saying, hey, he's part of the SmackDown roster. He's not supposed to be over here on Raw. I like that little touch that they put into it, which was obviously already a good promo from Paul Heyman and a decent way to go off the show. With that being said, overall, like, this show wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, and it was going to be hard to top last week with how they did everything and the Fatal 4-Ways and naming a new number one contender and actually having Finn Balor going over Roman Reigns to be that. So, with that being said, like I said, it wasn't a bad show. It just didn't meet up to what last week was, which, like I said, was going to be really hard. So, overall, decent show by every stretch of the imagination. It wasn't like you had a segment, like, you didn't have like a complete hour that was like, why am I watching? Why am I watching? No, you didn't really have that. You had some good stuff, and they were building new things. And you had to watch the entire show to kind of get it, because if you watched only with certain portions of it, it left your head scratching. It's like, where are they going with it? So, like I said, decent show. Came out pretty good in the end, in that sense. So that is my review this week for Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great evening.